In the Israeli city of Sderot, reflections at election time tend to coalesce around security. Just a kilometer from the Gaza Strip, Sderot is a regular target for Palestinian militant groups there engaged in conflict with Israel. Air raid sirens were sounding here just last week when a surge in cross-border violence saw dozens of rockets fired by the Islamic Jihad. Over a 48-hour period, Israel responded with airstrikes.
Rocket is not chocolate. Rocket is someone send it to you just to kill you. And it's very difficult for us.
Mayor Alon Davidi believes the only leader capable of dealing with it is the man already in the job for a decade now, Benjamin Netanyahu. Davidi says offering concessions to Palestinian leaders is not the answer.
It's not work. Netanyahu understands that if you want to make a relationship with someone, you must build your security.
In the countryside, on a kibbutz just outside Sderot, though, there lives a very different point of view.
Everything is in the other side of the fence is Gaza.
Betty Gavri has lived at Nir Am for nearly 60 years now.
We can see them and they can see us. And for a long time, we can also visit each other. And we did. And we did.
She's also desperate for the rockets to stop, but says Netanyahu is not the man to do it.
We arrived to a time that he has to finish. He finished his career as a leader, so-called.
Gavri will back former military chief Benny Gantz and his centrist Blue and White Party, saying people on both sides of the Gaza border need hope.
People without hope, they make a lot of problems to themselves and to others.
Gaza is home to some 2 million Palestinians living under an Israeli and Egyptian blockade for 12 years now. Lives measured out in varying degrees of despair. The UN agency responsible here says it feeds half of Gaza.
This is fertile ground and increasingly fertile ground for extremist groups to take a hold and to influence people. If you have nothing left to lose, you will go to the fence knowing you might be killed and shot at.
Israel imposed the blockade after the militant Islamist group Hamas took over the Strip in 2007. Critics call it collective punishment. Fishermen like Hussam Bakr, a father of 12, are only allowed to venture a few kilometers offshore. The small fishing fleet barely able to stay afloat anyway, they say, because they can't get repair supplies through the blockade. We couldn't care less whether it's Netanyahu or somebody else elected, says Bakr. He doesn't believe it will change his situation in the least. There are certainly few signs on the other side of all the concrete and barbed wire that Israelis will shift away from traditional voting patterns. Sderot's mayor agrees.
You think that the people that in the kibbutzim will vote Netanyahu? Never. Because they have their ideology.
For Gavri, that's about engaging again with the Palestinians.
I don't know nowhere in any kind of situation during the history that negotiations you do with yourself. This is something quite problematic.
So too, though, is a country so divided that it's now on its third try in less than a year at electing a government. Margaret Evans, CBC News, along the Israeli-Gaza border.